evening, my little yogis. Thank you for coming to today's 5:30 p.m. class live on Twitch. We'll begin class in about 4 minutes, so spend this time stretching out your wrists, stretching out your knees, stretching out your joints, and meet me in the middle of your mat.
Ando por ahí con los de siempre, un flow cabrón, dando vuelta en un maquinón, cristales 5 en un capsulón. Ando por ahí con los de siempre, un flow cabrón, dando vuelta en un maquinón, cristales 5 en un capsulón. Me aburrí de la jipeta y saqué un maquinón, que cuando lo acelero sienten la presión. Bellaquita de profesión, puesta para el problemón. Mis diablas andan todas de misión. Ando en un Lamborghini que la alfombra dice diablo. Pa' arriba la puerta si la abro, baby. Compárenme con la que sea, yo la parto. Hijo va a ser millonario desde el parto. De mi baby ninguna le baja. La Jordan nueva de caja. Y la cuenta nadie me la paga. Te gustan como yo, no te hagas. Hasta abajo desde los 16. Desde chamaquita rompiendo la ley. Me tiran pero es que no hay break. Nos conocimos hoy, mañana replay. Hasta abajo desde los 16. Desde chamaquita rompiendo la ley. Desde me explotado pero es que no hay break. Nos comimos hoy, mañana replay. La verdadera bichota, papi. Y la tóxica. Ya tú sabes. Karol G. Con Mariah. Ey, cuidado. Que venimos por ahí. Con un flow bien cabrón.
Hello guys, and welcome to today's wonderful 5:30 class here in Atlanta, Georgia. My name is Alyssa Willoughby, and I am the curator and founder of Pencil Yoga in San Juan, Puerto Rico. I'm a 500-hour certified yoga instructor with Yoga Alliance, and and I am here to demonstrate a wonderful 16-minute Ashtanaga Hatha based Vinyasa sequence. Today we will be running through the Hatha Surya Namaskara, the Ashtanga Surya Namaskara D, alongside, and then finally coming into Shavasana. I will demonstrate these sequences before going through them, and then we will be going through 5 rounds of each. The first 2 will be a little bit more slower than the last 3, and the last 3 will be going to a true Vinyasa breath, or a breath to movement. We'll be using the Ujjayi Pranayama, or the warrior's breath. This technique is used to create fire within the belly in order to push us further throughout the class. So during this class, I want you to make sure that you pay attention to your breath and the way that you're breathing. We don't want shallow breathing, and we don't want fast, rapid breathing either. We want to make sure that we're taking equal breaths, inhaling and exhaling out of the mouth or nose, depending on how I instruct you. In the beginning of our class, we will open up with a Nadi Shuddha Pranayama. This is the altering nostril breath. It is used to isolate the left and right side nostril independently before bringing them together. This is to activate our left and right side hemisphere of our brain independently in order to bring them together in unison. Yoga is by definition to join. So we are going to be bringing our breath, our movement, and our mind into one rhythm. When you're ready, I want you to come down into a seat onto your mat. I want you to sit crisscross applesauce, coming into a lotus, a half lotus, or simply sitting with your legs crossed. I want you to pull the seat or the muscles out from under your seat. And I want you to lift up tall and proud in your seating asana. I want you to bring the palms down to the tops of the shin. I want you to lift the spine up and out of the hips. And I want you to sink down into your seat. Inhale, really lifting the entire spine up and out of the seat, dragging it all the way to the top of the ceiling. I want you to bring your shoulder blades up to the ears and roll them back and down your spine, really bringing them to touch behind you. Really elongating the arms out to the knees. Really pull your shoulder blades back and pull your spine up so it's stacking directly on top of your hips. Pushing through the left and right knee down to the floor. This will help pull your chest up to the sky, really lifting and opening that space behind your neck. Inhale, fill the entire lungs up with air, bringing the shoulder blades down. And exhale loudly out of the mouth. Again, inhale deeply through the nose. Bringing the shoulders away from the ears to touch behind you, shoulder elbows coming towards the midline. And exhale loudly out the mouth. One more time, deeply through the nose. And exhale loudly out the mouth. Inhale, I want you to bring your arms out wide like a book, bringing your palms facing up towards the ceiling. I want you to stretch your arms out to the left and right side of the mat and really stretch between the skin of the fingers. I want you to stretch so much that you really pull your thumbs towards the back and really reach your pinkies towards the front. Keep your shoulders down away from the ears and to touch behind you. I want you to keep an even and parallel surface right here with your arms. We're going to inhale, really lengthening the arms out. Exhale, bring your shoulder blades to touch behind you, lifting the spine up and out of the shoulders. Exhale, sit deeper down into your asana. Inhale, I want you to lift the arms up, coming right to ears distance. Reaching up and out of the side body, I want you to lift the spine up, really sucking the diaphragm and the belly up into the ribs, bringing the shoulder blades away from the ears by dragging them down your back. Keeping your gaze, your distance, your focus up to the sky. I want you to lift up higher into your spine. And exhale, I want you to bring your palms together very gently. Bring your palms down first to touch your forehead. Dragging them down to your lips. And coming down into the middle of your chest. I want you to push your palms together in the middle of your chest, really opening up the shoulders, really rolling them down your back. And exhale loudly out the mouth, bringing your tongue down to the bottom of your chin, Again, inhale through the nose, pushing your palms in the middle of your chest. Opening your shoulder blades towards the back. And exhale loudly out the mouth. Again, inhale through the nose. Filling up those collarbones, filling up the back of your shoulders, filling up your floating ribs. Bringing that skin closer toward the midline of the chest. I want you to exhale loudly out the mouth and release your palms down to the knees. I want you to keep your left palm on that left knee, and I want you to bring your attention to the right palm. I want you to bring your thumb and your index finger to touch, coming into a chin mudra. I want you to spread your fingers out wide, opening up the skin in between each of your digits. On your inhale, I want you to breathe through both nostrils. And on your exhale, I want you to bring that hand over the left side of the nose, gently covering that left nostril with the middle finger. I want you to hold your inhale, lifting the entire spine up and out of the hips. And on your exhale, I want you to gently release that air out of the right nostril. Inhale, lifting the spine up and out. Expanding through your floating ribs, through the middle of your rib cage. Bringing the shoulder blades away from the ears and dragging them down your back to touch. Keeping your chin parallel to the chest. Exhale slowly, keeping the shoulders away from the ears and relaxing the entire body down into the mat. Inhale deeply through that nose. And exhale slowly out that right. 2 more times. Inhale deeply through that right side. And exhale slowly out that right. Inhale, open that right nostril, really letting that air in. Expanding through the entire capacity of your lungs. Holding at the top. And exhale slowly out that right. Last and final inhale on this right side. Deeply breathe through that nose. And I want you to hold. I want you to bring the attention back into that right palm and switch your hand position over to cover that right side nostril. Really sitting up tall in your spine. I want you to exhale slowly out that left side, feeling the difference on this side of the body. Inhale deeply through that left. And exhale out that left side. Inhale. And exhale out. Inhale through that left side, last time. Hold at the top. Now bring your attention into that right palm. Release the middle and the index finger and the thumb and bring it right above your nose where the bone and the cartilage meet. I want you to gently pinch and lift the skin towards the middle of the eyebrows. On the top of your inhale, I want you to exhale slowly out of both nostrils, evenly, slowly, really feeling the air escape through the lungs, traveling up the throat, exiting the mouth, the nose. Inhale deeply through that left side, or through both nostrils. Exhale out. Inhale, breathe deeply through both noses. And exhale out. Last and final breath deeply through the nose. Exhale out.
Ne laisse pas ton odeur imprégner mes draps, et si tu m'abandonnes,
On your next inhale, I want you to bring your Ujjayi Pranayama into our practice. This is going to be an inhalation through the nostrils, and on your exhale, you're going to keep the lips touched and exhale out of both sides. I want you to constrict the back of the throat, creating an ocean wave sound coming out of your throat. Inhale, lifting the spine up and out of the hips. Exhale, Ujjayi, constricting the back of the throat and moving that fire up and out of the belly. Inhale deeply. And exhale out. On your next inhale, I want you to come out of your seated pose, and I want you to meet me into our first asana of the day, into our child's pose. I want you to bring your toes to touch, heels out, and bringing the knees to the left and right side of the mat. I want you to bring your tailbone down to the back of the heels and lay the entire front of the foot down onto the mat. Bringing all toes evenly onto the surface of the mat, I want you to stretch your spine up and out of the hips, lengthening through the lumbar, expanding through the thoracic, extending through the cervix. And on your exhale, I want you to bring those shoulders away from your ears by dragging them down your back. I want you to really sit deeper, bringing that thigh closer towards the middle of your belly, or to the sides of your belly. I want you to bring the chest down to the floor and rest your forehead down onto the mat. Keeping your arms out wide, I want you to spread through those fingers, really lengthening the neck up towards the front of the room. Exhale, sink those hips deeper into the chest and really feel the compression in the tops of the thighs. I want you to elongate the spine towards the front of the room by imagining a tiny little string attached to the top. On each inhale, imagine somebody pulling this imaginary string up a little bit closer, a little bit closer. And on your exhale, sink that chest down to the floor, bringing the tops of the thighs towards the tops of your hips. Inhale, expanding the spine up towards the front. And on your exhale, sink down. On your next inhale, bring that left palm over to that left side mat and bring that right palm to cover it. Inhale, lengthen the spine up towards the front left side corner of your mat, really bringing that left side body onto the top of that left thigh. I want you to push the tailbone to the back of the heels and really stretch through that right side body. Pulling the top of the head closer towards the front of the room, really bringing the entire chest down. Inhale, deeply expanding through the entire ribs. Opening up the floating ribs, expanding the back of your spine. And exhale, sink that chest down deeper into the floor. Inhale, come back to center. And exhale, release the weight of the chest down to that floor a little bit deeper. Inhale, bring that right palm over to the right side mat, bringing that left to cover it. I want you to lengthen the spine up towards the front right corner of that mat, bringing that right side body onto the top of the thigh. Bringing the tailbone to the back of the heels. I want you to expand the spine up towards the front of the mat. On your exhale, sink that chest down towards the mat. I want you to bring that right side body over that right thigh. And on your inhale, really open up on the left side to bring the left side body up towards the ceiling. Inhale, really opening through the shoulders. Exhale, sink down. Inhale, come back to center. Spread the fingers out wide in front of you and really push the thumbs and the bottom of our palm deeper into the floor, lifting all four fingers up off of the mat. I want you to push down deeper, keeping your shoulders away from the ears and drag your chest down to the floor. Really pulling through the top of the head. Really pulling the top of the head towards the front of the mat. Inhale, I want you to expand in the left and right side of your ribs, bringing the middle of your belly or top of your diaphragm in towards the midline of your body. I want you to use this space to really ripple the top spine up and expanding and opening to ripple down onto the floor. Inhale deeply through the belly, expanding the entire rib cage. Exhale loudly out the mouth. On our inhale, I want you to come up onto our tabletop, bringing the wrist right underneath the elbow or the shoulders and bringing the knees right underneath the hips. I want you to flip your wrist upside down, bringing the fingers to face the front of the knees. Bringing all fingers directly onto the mat, I want you to put the weight into your knees, into the back of your feet. I want you to gently rock the weight of the body over the wrist in a circular motion, feeling that openness really coming alive. Maybe stretch your fingers, crack your fingers. Then on your exhale, I want you to roll over the opposite direction, coming over to that right side, coming over to the left wrist, and now I want you to flip back over. I want you to push evenly through your arms, and I want you to bring your attention or your focus onto the triad of your palm. This is going to be your thumb, your index finger, and your middle finger. We're going to push the weight into these three fingers to use the wrist as a base instead of an actual foundation. We're going to push through these three fingers, lifting the two on the outside before placing them down into our foundation. Now we're going to try not to use or move our hands once we get into this position, because this is where we find our integrity in this pose. We're going to come into our cat-cows momentarily. On our inhale, we're going to bring our chest down to the floor. We're going to roll our shoulder blades back and down the spine, and we're going to bring our tailbone to the back of the room. We're going to open up through our chest and bring our gaze or our drishti up to the sky and really feel this expansion in the front of the chest. Maybe open up your pose a little bit, but really rock back and forth, just opening up the wrist, opening up the knees. And on your exhale, I want you to come back into your cow pose. Push the floor away through the knees and through the triad of our palms. Erecting the spine up towards the top of the ceiling, I really want you to bring your chin in towards the chest. I want you to open up through the back of the spine and really come into a dramatic arched cat. It is Halloween, so this is perfect pose to celebrate our wonderful Halloween festivals if you are celebrating. On your inhale, I want you to drag that chest down to the floor. I want you to tuck your tailbone back. I want you to roll your shoulder blades back and down your spine and bring your chest towards the front of the room, keeping your gaze or drishti up. I want you to inhale, opening up through the front body. Exhale, shoot it back. Inhale, come back down into our cow pose, opening up that spine by bringing the chest down to the floor. Keeping your gaze up to the sky. On your exhale, shoot it back. Rock to the back, opening up those ankles and those wrists. Rock to the front, coming over and bringing the entire thighs down, coming into a baby cobra, a little bit of a cobra variation. Exhale, coming back, bringing that tabletop into our mat. I want you to push down evenly through the triad of your palms. And on your exhale, I want you to push the feet into the floor so much that you lift your knees off, coming into a beast pose. I want you to drag the tops of the knees towards the wrist and really lift up and out of your shoulders. Pushing through the triad of your palms, I want you to exhale, hold the integrity of this pose. Inhale, I want you to come over the toes, bringing your heels down to the mat and shooting your tailbone to the back of the room. I want you to push the floor away through the triad of our palms and sink those heels down deeper to the floor. Now, if the floor is not accessible to you just yet, that is okay. Please bring a gentle bend into your knees, and I want you to focus on the back side of your legs. On your exhale, I want you to slightly straighten your legs to try just to straighten the back side of those thighs. Inhale, really lengthening the spine down towards the floor. Imagine that little string on the top of your head just being gently elongated towards your hands, keeping your gaze or drishti at the tops of your thighs. I want you to exhale, sink those heels down deeper into the mat and drag the top of that chest towards the front of your thighs. Inhale, deeply expanding and elongating the spine, keeping the shoulders away from the ears. On our exhale, I want you to sink that chest closer towards the front of the thighs. Inhale deeply through the nose. And exhale loudly out of the mouth, bringing that tongue towards the bottom of the chin. 2 more rounds. Inhale deeply through the nose, lengthening the spine down towards the floor. Pushing those heels down to open up the backs of the legs, to open the legs or the thighs, the hips, one of the three. The hips out externally. This will bring your chest closer towards the front of the thighs. And exhale out loudly through the mouth, opening up that tongue. On your next inhale, I want you to bring your toes together in the middle of your mat. I want you to take tiny little ballerina steps all the way to the front, coming in between your palms of the front of the mat. I want you to bring your feet out hips distance apart, pushing the weight of the body over to take the weight into the toes and out of the heels. I want you to really lengthen the spine down towards the floor. Inhale, lengthening the spine outwards. And exhale, I want you to fold, bringing that torso over the thighs, dragging that neck down and letting the weight of the body naturally fall. Inhale deeply. Exhale loudly out the mouth. On your exhale, I want you to feel the weight of the body falling down with gravity. Inhale, filling the entire body up with air. Exhale loudly, dragging down. Inhale, halfway lift, Ardha Uttanasana. And exhale, bring your palms behind those thighs, shins, and inhale, lengthen the spine down towards the floor. On your exhale, I want you to bring the chest towards the tops of the shins. Inhale, Ardha Uttanasana, halfway lift. And exhale, forward fold, last and final time. Shake your head, yes. Shake your head, no. And on your inhale, I want you to slowly stack each vertebrae on top of vertebrae before coming up into our Samastha, our equal standing pose. I want you to bring the arms down to the sides of you, palms facing towards the front of the room. Inhale, standing up tall and straight in your Samastha, your equal standing pose. I want you to bring the shoulder blades to touch behind you, lifting the chest up towards the front of the room, tucking your tailbone under and stacking the shoulders directly on top of the hips. Pushing through the 4 corner points of your feet, this is going to be your big toe, your pinky toe, and 2 in the back of your heels. You're going to use this to activate the legs by drawing that muscle up the tops of the thighs. Really standing tall and proud in your Samastha. I want you to exhale loudly, standing firmly into the foundation of your feet. We will now begin our Hatha Surya Namaskara. This is consisting of 12 poses. They begin as such. We are going to come into a Samastha. Inhale, lift our arms up, bringing them behind us. Before falling back, we're going to tuck our tailbone under, standing firmly in those 4 corner points. We're going to bring the back of the body towards the back of the room. Keeping your gaze or your drishti up towards the sky. Exhale, I want you to forward fold into an Uttanasana. We're going to inhale, halfway lift, and our exhale, we're going to bring that left foot to the back of the mat, coming down into an Ashtanaga or our equestrian pose. We're going to bring the entire front side of the left shin down to the floor. We're going to stack our knee directly underneath us. We're going to bring a 90-degree bend in our right foot and really drag that right hip back. Really pull that left hip forward and tuck that tailbone under. We can open up our feet here to find a better foundation, but we're going to stack our knees directly. We're going to square our knees off, our hips off, to face the front of the room. On our inhale, we're going to lift the spine up and out of our seat, scissoring our legs towards each other, lifting our arms up to the sky and keeping them right next to our ears. Keeping our gaze or drishti up to the ceiling. On our exhale, we're either going to fall back into a full extension, or we're going to keep our arms down to the sides of our hips or down into our feet. On our inhale, we're going to bring that right foot to the back, coming into our mountain pose. We're going to push those feet down into the floor, really elongating the chest, down and bringing it closer towards the tops of the thighs. Keeping our gaze or drishti in between the tops of our legs, we're going to inhale, really push the floor away, and our exhale, sink that chest down deeper. On our next inhale, we're going to ripple forward, coming into first Plankhasana to prepare for our Namaskarasana, or our 4-point salute. We're going to come down evenly on our toes, our knees, our chest, and our chin, and rest them just on top of the mat. We're going to bring down, coming into a bend into our elbows, and on our exhale, we're going to ripple forward, bringing the body into a cobra pose. Now, the difference between an upward facing dog and a cobra pose is the fact that in an upward facing dog, we will activate our legs by drawing them up and off of the mat. Now, in a cobra pose, we leave our legs down on the floor and we really focus the front foundation in the front of our hips. We're going to bring them down evenly to the mat and really bring our chest up towards the sky or to the front of the room. Remember to keep those shoulders down and away from those ears. And on our exhale, we're going to shoot it back, coming over those toes into a mountain pose. On our inhale, we're going to lift that left foot up to the sky, bringing it in between to our nose and dropping it down, dropping our right foot or right knee down into an equestrian pose on the left side, really pulling our legs in towards one another. Drag that left hip back, pull that right hip forward, tuck that tailbone under, and really push through the top of the back foot. I want you to lift your spine up and out of the hips, and I want you to feel that compression right here in that left hip. I want you to feel the openness coming into that right top thigh, and I want you to lift the spine up and out of the hips. Reaching your arms up parallel towards your ears, I want you to lift through the back of your shoulders, lifting through the neck. And on our exhale, I want you to either lift back into a full extension or keeping your palms down to the outside of your hips or outside your feet. Coming back to center, I want you to bring that right foot to meet the left. I want you to halfway lift just for good measure. And on our exhale, I want you to forward fold. I want you to inhale, root to rise, coming into a Hatha Uttanasana. And our exhale, bring your palms down into the chest, into our prayer pose, and down, finally, into our Samasta TT. We will begin this in about 3 breaths. Take some time to grab some water. And when you're ready, meet me at the front of the mat, and we will begin our Hatha Surya Namaskara.
Come on, look at me. What you waiting for? I don't play hide and seek like I did before. We just find a place where you will kiss me without your armaments. So go and fix me. I will waiting for you like a rain in the summertime. I will miss you like I never missed with someone else. Hold my hand and tell me you don't wanna go away. 'Cause I can't live without your little love and pretty face. I can't live without your
Okay guys, when you're ready, meet me at the top of your mat. Toes together, heels slightly apart. I want you to bring your feet directly underneath your hips, and I want you to push through the big toe, the pinky toe, and 2 in the back of the heel. I want you to push down through all 4 corner points of your feet so much that you activate your legs by having the muscle drag up the thigh. Tuck the tailbone under and lift evenly out the left and right side body. I want you to stack your shoulders, your floating ribs, and your hips directly on top of one another. I want you to roll your shoulder blades back and down your spine and bring your elbows in towards the midline or towards the sides of your rib cage. I want you to bring your palms out wide to the side of you with the palms facing towards the front of the room. Pulling your fingers down towards the mat will bring your shoulders away from the ears and really open up the front of your chest. Exhale, sitting down deeper into the 4 corner points of your feet. I want you to inhale, bringing your palms into the chest and turn that into our prayer pose. Lifting up into a Hatha Uttanasana. I want you to push so firmly down into the 4 corner points of your feet that you actually feel the lifting out through your spine and the firmness in the foundation of your thighs.
lifting up and keeping your gaze, your drishti up to the sky. I want you to keep your shoulder blades to touch behind you. Bring your palms out to your shoulders distance, and I want you to exhale, fall back, tucking your tailbone under, and really elongating the spine towards the back of the room. Come back up to center. Exhale, forward fold into our Uttanasana. I want you to drag the top of the head down to the floor. Keep your gaze or drishti in between the tops of your thighs. I want you to drag your spine down, and with your shoulders, I want you to pull them down your back away from the ears. I want you to pull your chest closer towards the tops of your thighs, using the forearms to come behind the shins to pull gently towards the front of the legs. Really lengthening the spine down towards the floor. Exhale, sink a little bit deeper into your Uttanasana. On your next inhale, bring that left foot to the back of the mat, coming into your equestrian pose on that left side. Bringing that left shin down to the mat, pushing the top of your left foot into the mat. I want you to bring that left hip forward, drag that right hip back, and create an opposing pull in both of your legs. I want you to rip the mat towards the middle of your body and really sit up tall and proud in your seat. Stacking your shoulders on top of your hips, I want you to put your palms either down on the outside of your foot or bringing it over towards the outside of your hips. If you would like to come into a full extension, really square your hips off by lifting up evenly into your seat. Bringing your arms up above you, I want you to exhale, come down into an equestrian pose. Coming back up, bring that right foot back, coming into our mountain pose. On our inhale, coming into our Namaskarasana, or our 4-point salute, coming down into the toes, the knees, the chest, and the chin. Inhale, ripple the weight of the body over the wrist, keeping the legs onto the floor. Roll your shoulder blades back and down your spine, and keep your gaze, your drishti up to the sky. Exhale, shoot it back, coming into a mountain pose. On our inhale, I want you to bring that left foot up, coming into an equestrian pose on this left side. Bringing that knee, top of the foot on the right side down. I want you to twist that the torso over to the left to open up in that left hip. Bringing the left ankle underneath that left knee. I want you to drag that left hip back and pull that right hip forward. Lifting up taller into your spine. Lifting up and out of the hips, roll your shoulder blades back and down, and bring your gaze and your drishti up to the sky. Spreading your fingers out wide like you're holding the sun, lifting it up into the sky. On your exhale, either come into a full expression or stay in your variation. Exhale, bring that right foot forward, meeting the left. Inhale, halfway left into our Ardha Uttanasana. And our exhale, forward fold. Inhale, root your right, sweeping both arms up above, tall. And our exhale, I want you to come back into our Hatha Uttanasana. And exhale, palms down into prayer pose. And down into our Samastatuti. 3 more rounds here. Inhale, bring the palms up to the sky. Exhale, Hatha Uttanasana. Uttanasana. Ardha Uttanasana. Coming back down into our mountain pose. I want you to bring that left foot back, coming into our equestrian pose on that right side. Lifting up and out of the hips, pulling the legs in towards one another. I want you to lift up and out by pulling that left hip forward, dragging that right hip back, tucking that tailbone under, and lifting up and out of the spine. Inhale, lifting your arms up, coming into your full expression. And exhale, coming down. Bring that right foot back, coming into our mountain pose. And on our inhale, ripple forward, coming into our Namaskarasana, or our 4-point salute. Inhale, coming into our cobra or a Bhujangasana. Exhale, shoot it back. Bring that left foot up, coming into our equestrian pose on that left side. I want you to drag that right leg forward, pull that left hip back, and tuck that tailbone under. Lifting up and out of the hips, I want you to bring your shoulder blades back and down your spine and lift your arms up parallel right outside your ears. Lifting up and out of the hips, I want you to elongate the spine up towards the top of the ceiling. On your exhale, either keeping your palms either by the foot, outside the hips, or into a full expression. Exhale, coming back up, bringing that right foot to that left foot. Inhale, halfway lift. And our exhale, I want you to forward fold into our Uttanasana, dragging the top of the head closer towards the floor, bringing the chest towards the front of the thighs. And on our exhale, sink down deeper. Inhale, root to rise, sweeping both arms up to the sky. Exhale, Hatha Uttanasana. Inhale, coming back up to center. Exhale, palms into chest into our prayer pose. And Samasthiti, equal standing pose. Inhale, root to rise, Urdhva, Hatha Uttanasana. And exhale, fall back. Inhale, Uttanasana. Coming up into a halfway lift, pushing the palms into the shins, really pushing through the four corner points of our feet, elongating the spine towards the front of the room. I want you to create a flat surface right here on the back of our hips, really pushing the spine up and out of the hips. And on our exhale, bring our palms down, bring that left foot to the back of the mat. Coming into our equestrian pose, or our Ashtanaga on the right side. Lifting up and out of the hips, I want you to drag that right hip back, roll that left hip forward, and put the entire back foot down onto the floor. I want you to tuck your tailbone under, lift the spine up and out of the hips, and roll your shoulder blades back and down, your spine to touch. Bring your arms up, out to ears distance, and inhale, lifting the spine up and out. On our exhale, I want you to come down, bring that right foot back, coming into our mountain pose. Inhale, I want you to come into our Namaskarasana, or a four corner point. Salute. Inhale into our Bhujanasana, or cobra pose. And exhale, come over those toes, bring that tailbone to the back of the room, coming into our mountain pose. Inhale, lift that left foot up, bringing it in between our palms, coming into an equestrian pose on that right side, left side. I want you to stack that left knee directly on top of that left ankle. I want you to bring the front side of that right shin down onto the mat, pushing our entire foot into the floor. I want you to really pull that right hip forward, drag that right hip back, and tuck that tailbone under. Really keeping the chest parallel or evenly stacked on top of the hips. I want you to bring your palms to the outside of your hips, lifting the chest up towards the front of the room. And on your exhale, simply gently drag your palms to the back, opening up that front chest. Exhale, bring our palms down, bring that right foot to meet the left. Inhale, halfway lift into our Ardha Uttanasana. And our exhale, I want you to forward fold. Inhale, root to rise, sweeping both arms up. And our exhale, I want you to stand up tall, tuck your tailbone under, and pull the spine up and out of the hips. I want you to lean back, keeping the arms parallel with the ears, and stretch out towards the back, and then fall back. And our exhale, palms down to chest, and palms down to our Samasthiti. We'll now begin our Ashtanaga Vinyasa B. This sequence is comprised of 19 poses. Just like any Surya Namaskar, we will always begin in our Samasthiti. I will demonstrate them before moving into our 5 rounds of the Ashtanaga Vinyasa. If you would like to practice with me while I'm demonstrating, you can come along. Inhale, pushing down into our feet. We're going to come into our Samasthiti, our equal standing pose. Inhale, palms to chest, reaching up to the sky, coming into our Urdhva Hastasana, lifting the spine up and out of the hips by pushing our feet firmly into the floor. I want you to exhale, keep the feet where they are, and just let the torso fall over those thighs, bringing the top of the head down towards the floor. I want you to inhale, lengthening the spine out, coming into a halfway lift or Ardha Uttanasana. And our exhale, I want you to forward fold into a Uttanasana, dragging the front of the chest closer towards the thighs. On your next inhale, I want you to bring your palms down, bring your feet to the back of the mat, coming into a Chaturanga Dandasana. We'll begin in a Plankhasana, and we're going to push the weight of the body over the toes, bring your elbows into a 90-degree bend, coming in towards the floating ribs. On our inhale, we're going to lift the chest up to the front of the room, pushing our feet into the floor, dragging the muscles up our thighs, and really dragging our hips down to the floor. Inhale, keeping our gaze up. On your exhale, I want you to come over those toes, bringing the tailbone to the back of the room, coming into a downward facing dog, or a Adho Mukha Svanasana. On our inhale, we're going to push the floor away through the palms. On our exhale, we're going to sink those heels down deeper. Inhale, we're going to lift that right foot up to the sky, and our exhale, bring that knee in towards the nose, coming up off the toes and dropping that foot down in between the palms. Bring that left foot out at a 45-degree angle, and I want you to bring that right knee directly on top of that right ankle. Lifting the palms up, parallel in front of you. I want you to inhale, lift the torso to stack directly on top of the hips. I want you to lift the spine up and out of the hips by dragging that right hip back and really pushing that left hip forward. Tucking that tailbone under, lifting up and out. And on your exhale, come down. Bring that right foot back, Chaturanga Dandasana. Upward facing. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, lift that left foot up, coming into a three-legged or one-legged downward facing dog. Inhale, bring that knee to nose, dropping it down in between our palms and coming into a Virajadasana Warrior One on this left side. I want you to push that right side foot into the floor. And I want you to bring that left knee directly onto the left ankle. I want you to stack the torso directly on top of that thigh. Bringing your arms out and lifting and stacking the torso directly on top of those hips. I want you to push the left knee towards the front of the room and turn that right hip forward by using the outside of that back right foot. Inhale, lifting the spine up and out. Keeping your arms up parallel to the ears. Keeping your gaze or drishti up to the sky. I want you to sit down deeper into your Virajadasana, your Warrior One. On your exhale, bring the palms down. Bring that left foot back and drop down into Chaturanga Dandasana. Downward facing dog. On our inhale, we're going to jump step walk both feet to the front of the mat. We're going to halfway lift into our Ardha Uttanasana. And our exhale, we're going to forward fold into an Uttanasana. Inhale, root to rise, sweeping both arms up above us. And our exhale, palms to chest. And palms down to Samasthiti. I did forget one crucial pose there. In the beginning and in the end, we'll begin in our Samasthiti. We will come into a prayer pose. Reach up into our Urdhva Hastasana. And our exhale, we're going to sit down to imaginary chair into an Utkatasana. We're going to take the weight out of the toes and into the heels and lift up and out of our seat. We're going to bring the chest towards the front of the room and lift our arms up to the sky. Turning our palms internally, we're going to have our pinkies facing towards one another and keeping our thumbs out to the sides. Keeping our gaze up to the sky, bring your shoulder blades back and down, your back away from your ears. Inhale, lift up. And our exhale, we're going to forward fold. We're going to do the exact same thing coming out, which I will demonstrate for you. So take 2 breaths here to grab some towel or grab some water. Don't towel off because we will be pushing through the next 5 rounds of our Ashtanga Surya Namaskara beat. And when you guys are ready, meet me at the top of your mat. Toes together, heels slightly apart. I want you to push down into the 4 corner points of our feet, drawing the muscles up the thighs, tucking our tailbone under and lifting the spine up and out of the hips. I want you to roll the shoulder blades back and down your spine and bring your fingers down towards the floor. Inhale, palms to chest, reaching up into Urdhva Hastasana. And our exhale, I want you to sit down into an imaginary chair, coming into our Utkatasana. I want you to take the weight out of the toes and into the heels and lean the knees directly on top of the heels. I want you to sit back deeper into your imaginary chair and bring the chest up towards the front of the room. I want you to keep your shoulder blades behind you or even coming into a football field arm variation. I want you to bring your shoulder blades to touch behind you, pushing the elbows down towards the left and right side of the bottom mat. I want you to keep your arms out and keep your arms parallel. Inhale, lifting the chest up towards the sky. And our exhale, forward fold, coming into our Uttanasana. Really dragging the top of the head towards the floor, taking the weight out of the heels into the toes. I want you to drag the chest closer towards the shins. Exhale out loudly through the mouth. Inhale, halfway lift into our Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, bring the palms down and jump, step, or walk both feet to the back of the mat, coming into a Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhale, upward facing. And exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, lift that right foot up to the sky. Pushing through the back of the heel, bringing the toes down to the floor. I want you to elongate the back of the leg up towards the ceiling. I want you to push evenly through that left foot and kick evenly throughout that right. Pushing through the triad of our palms. This is going to be our thumb, our index finger, and our middle finger. I want you to bring the shoulders away from the ears and bring the chest closer towards the top of the thigh. Inhale, drag the top of the head closer towards the floor. And exhale, bring that chest towards the thigh. Inhale, knee to nose, bringing that foot down and coming into a Virjanasana or a warrior one on this right side. Bringing that left foot out at a 45-degree angle, I want you to stack that right knee directly on top of that right ankle at a 90-degree bend. I want you to lift the spine and stack the torso evenly on top of the hips. Dragging that left hip forward and pulling that right hip back will help you lift the spine up and out of the hips. Inhale, keep lifting, lifting, lifting. And our exhale, bring the palms down, right foot back, Chaturanga. Upward facing. And exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, lift that left foot up, bringing it knee to nose. And exhale, shoot it back. Inhale, knee to nose, and bringing it down in between your palms. I want you to bring that right foot out at a 45-degree angle. I want you to stack that left knee directly on that left ankle, and I want you to turn the torso over so it's directly on top of that thigh. I want you to bring your arms out parallel in front of you, and your exhale, I want you to stack and lift that spine directly on top of those hips. I want you to push through the outside of that right foot in order to use that leg as a rudder to bring that right hip forward. I want you to drag that right hip back, tuck that tailbone under, and lift up and out of your hips. Bring your arms out, up in front. I want you to sit down deeper in your foundation of your feet. On your exhale, I want you to come down, bring that left foot back, Chaturanga Dandasana. Upward facing. And exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, lift that left foot up, bringing it over and coming to a Virjanasana Warrior One on this left side. I want you to push through the outside of that right foot and really turn that right hip forward to square your hips off. Drag that left hip back, tuck that tailbone under, and stack that left knee directly on top of that left ankle. Lifting and keeping your gaze up to the ceiling, arms parallel to the ears. And our exhale, I want you to come down, bring that left foot back, and Chaturanga. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, jump, step, walk both feet to the front of the mat. Halfway lift. And exhale, forward fold into your Uttanasana. Inhale, root to right, sitting both arms up. And your exhale, Hasta Uttanasana. Just kidding, Utkatasana, our chair pose. Sitting down into an imaginary chair, taking the weight out of the toes and into the heels. I want you to sink that tailbone back towards the back of the mat. I want you to lift your arms up, bringing your chest towards the front. And your exhale, stand up tall, bringing the palms down into the midline. And finally down into our Samasthiti. Inhale, bring your arms up tall ahead of you. On our exhale, Utkatasana, chair pose. Lifting the chest up towards the front of the room, taking the weight out of the toes and into the heels. I want you to sit back deeper into this imaginary chair. Keeping your gaze here, just up to the sky on your exhale, Uttanasana. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, jump, step, walk. Both feet. Upward facing dog. And exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, lift that right foot up, coming into a Virajasana, or a one-legged or three-legged downward facing dog. Inhale, knee to nose, dropping that foot down and bringing that left foot out at a 45-degree angle. Stacking that right knee directly on top of that right ankle. I want you to lift the torso up evenly on top of your torso. And I want you to drag that left hip forward, pull that right hip back, tuck that tailbone under, and really sit deeper into those legs. Lifting the spine up evenly out of the hips. I want you to exhale, forward fold. Inhale, bring that left foot back, Chaturanga. Upward facing. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, lift that left foot up, bringing the toes down to the floor, pushing out through the back of the heel. Inhale, knee to nose. Exhale, kick it back. Inhale, bring that left foot down in between the palms, coming into a 45-degree angle on that right foot. Lifting up and out off of the thigh, coming into a Virajasana Warrior One. I want you to push through the outside of that right foot, turning that right hip forward. Really standing tall in your foundation. And exhale, sit down deeper. Exhale, come back down. Bring that left foot to the back, Chaturanga. Upward facing. And exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, jump step, walk both feet to the front of the mat. Halfway lift. And exhale, forward fold. Inhale, root to rise, sweeping both arms up above you. On your exhale, Utkatasana, chair pose. Sitting down deeper into your imaginary chair, I want you to take the weight out of the toes and into the heels. I want you to sit back deeper, bringing the back of the tailbone down towards the floor. I want you to lift your spine up to bring your chest towards the front of the room and keep your arms out to the sides of your ears. Lifting up tall and proud. On your exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold one more time. Inhale, root to rise, sweeping both arms up above you. And exhale, palms to chest. And palms down to into Samasthiti. 2 more rounds. Inhale, bring the arms up above you. Standing firmly in between both feet to stand tall through the left and right side body, lifting and expanding through the sides. And our exhale, palms down to chest, palms down to the side. Inhale, palms to the chest, reaching up into Urdhva Hastasana. On your exhale, Utkatasana, chair pose. Taking the weight out of the toes and into the heels, I want you to bring the knees directly on top of the ankles. I want you to open your hips out wide and really sit that tailbone down. Bringing the chest up towards the front of the room. Lift your arms out right outside the ears. On your exhale, I want you to forward fold into your Uttanasana. Inhale, halfway lift. And on your exhale, jump step, walk both feet to the back of the mat. Chaturanga Dandasana. Upward facing. And exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, lift that right foot up, bringing the toes down to the floor, pushing out through that heel and square off the hips by pushing evenly and pulling, pushing evenly through the left into the right foot. On your inhale, knee to nose. Exhale, shoot it back. Inhale, knee to nose, dropping it down in between your palms and bringing that left foot out at a 45-degree angle. I want you to bring that right knee directly on top of this that right foot. Inhale, stacking the torso on top of your hips by dragging that left hip forward, pulling that right hip back, and tucking your tailbone under. I want you to open through the insides of your thigh and really rotate through that left hip, lifting the spine up and out of the hips. On your exhale, forward fold. Bring that right foot back, Chaturanga. Downward facing dog. Inhale, bring that left foot up to the sky, coming to a one-legged or three-legged downward facing dog. Bring that knee to the nose. And exhale, kick it back. Inhale, knee to nose, coming up on those right toes and dropping that left foot down. Coming into your Virajasana, one in your Warrior One on the left side. I want you to bring that left foot into a 90-degree bend, pushing out through the back side of that right foot, stacking the chest directly on top of that thigh, and bring your arms out wide in front of you. Inhale, stack the torso directly on top of the hips, drag that right hip forward, pull that left hip back, tuck that tailbone under, and make sure to use the outside of that right foot as a rudder to really turn that right hip to square off to the front of the room. Inhale, lifting the arms up to the sides of the ear. Bring your shoulder blades away from the ears, dragging them down to touch behind you. And exhale, come down. Bring that left foot back and Chaturanga. Inhale, upward. And exhale, downward facing dog. Really pushing the floor away through the triad of our palms. Really dragging the shoulders away from our ears to touch behind us. Drag that chest closer towards the top of the thighs and push the heels down into the floor. I want you to open up through the back sides of our legs and really feel the expansion in the back of the spine and the back of the thighs. Inhale, jump, step, walk both feet to the front of the room. Halfway lift into our Ardha Chandrasana. And our exhale, forward fold. Shake that head, yes. Shake that head, no. On your inhale, I want you to root to rise, leaving both arms up above you. On your exhale, Utkatasana, chair pose. Sitting down into that imaginary chair, taking the weight out of the toes and into the heels. I want you to stack those knees directly on top of those ankles and lift up and out of the hips. I want you to sit down evenly through both legs and bring your chest towards the front of the room. I want you to keep your gaze, your drishti up to your hands and lift the chest up and back. On your exhale, stand up tall, bringing palms down to the chest. And then finally down into our Samasthiti. Inhale, lifting up and out of our standing Samasthiti. And exhale, release the air, releasing the body, taking the tension and the stress away. Again, inhale deeply through the nose. Loud exhale out the mouth. Inhale, sweeping your arms up above you to touch. On your exhale, Utkatasana, chair pose. Sitting down deeper into your imaginary chair, taking the weight out of the toes into the heels. I want you to tuck your tailbone and sit it down deeper. Keeping your gaze, your drishti up to the sky. I want you to lengthen through the entire side bodies. And exhale loudly, coming down into a Uttanasana, folding over those front legs, dragging the top of the head closer towards the floor and bringing the chest towards the top of the thighs and or the shins. Inhale, halfway lift. And our exhale, I want you to jump, step, walk, Chaturanga Dandasana. Upward facing dog. And exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, lift that right foot up to the sky, coming into a Virajadasana, warrior one on that right side. Lifting the arms up and out. I want you to stack the torso directly on top of the thighs. Drag that left hip forward, pull that right hip back, and tuck that tailbone under. I want you to open up through the legs by pushing out through the left side body of your foot. Inhale, lifting up and out of the hips. And our exhale, I want you to turn the body over towards the left. Keeping the feet where they are, just bringing the left foot parallel to the back of the mat. I want you to come into your warrior two or your Virajadasana two on the right side. I want you to push that right knee towards the front of the mat. And I want you to push to the back side of that left foot. Bring your arms out wide like a book. I want you to place the palms down towards the floor. And really pull through the top sides of your shoulders, your forearms, and your biceps. Inhale, imagine a tiny little string around the middle finger, pulling through the front and right. Exhale, bring the shoulder blades to touch behind you. And keep your gaze drishti or focus towards the front middle finger of your right palm. Inhale, lengthen. On your exhale, I want you to push the weight of the body over that right thigh, lifting up, coming into a side angle. I want you to stack the shoulders on top of each other and really lift the arm up and out towards the ceiling and pushing that right palm in towards the floor. Tuck your tailbone under, really opening that right knee towards that right side. And our exhale, I want you to bring that right palm behind you. I want you to bring your right palm out and come to high five the back mat. Then into a reverse warrior. Keeping the integrity in that 90 degree bend on that right side. I want you to lengthen through the right side body. And exhale, come down, bringing both palms down. I want you to lift that right foot up into a warrior 3 or a Virabhadrasana 3 on the right side. I want you to push that right foot towards the back of the room by keeping your toes facing towards the floor, pushing through the heel and stacking. And squaring off your hips will help you keep a nice foundation. Lifting the spine towards the front of the room. Imagine that little string at the top of your head, really lifting and lifting towards the front. Keeping your gaze or your drishti down towards the floor. On your exhale, I want you to bring the front of the chest towards the front of the shin. Kick that left heel back and really open up through the back side of your neck. Inhale, bring that left foot down. Halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, pushing those shins, those palms in through the shins. I want you to elongate the spine towards the front of the room. And exhale, fold that torso over the tops of the thighs. Inhale, halfway lift. And exhale, palms down, Chaturanga Dandasana. Bringing the elbows into the floating ribs, bringing the chest over towards the front of the room and bringing the legs down to the mat. I want you to activate the legs by drawing the muscle up the thighs and bringing the hips to the front side of the mat. Exhale, shoot it back. Inhale, lift that left foot up towards the sky, pushing through the heels and keeping your toes down to face the floor. I want you to activate the entire back side of the leg by kicking the heel back. Really square the hips off by pushing evenly through that right foot and kicking through that left foot. I want you to push the mat away through the triad of our palms and keep the shoulders away from the ears to elongate that spine down towards the floor before dragging your chest towards the top of that right thigh. Inhale, knee to nose, dropping it down into a Virabhadrasana Warrior 1 on the south side. Bringing that left foot into a 90-degree angle and bringing that right foot into a 45-degree. Bring that right foot into a 45-degree bend angle and then left foot into a 90-degree angle. I want you to lift the arms up directly next to the ears and bring the shoulder blades down and away from your ears. Keeping your gaze or drishti up to the sky, I want you to lift the spine up and out of the hips. Tuck that tailbone under, pull that right hip forward, drag that left hip back and push to the outside of that right foot. On your exhale, turn the torso over towards the right room. Drop your arms down into a Warrior 2 or a Virabhadrasana 2. Keeping a 90-degree bend to that left foot, I want you to drag the left side of our left knee over towards the left side of our mat. I want you to sit down deeper into your legs and push through the outside of your right foot, the back side of your right foot. I want you to rip the floor away through your feet and stack your torso directly on top of your hips. I want you to open the arms out wide and proud into a book. Lift the palm up towards the sky. And your exhale, high five the back room, coming into a reversed warrior. Exhale, bring that palm down, coming into a side angle. Lifting that right arm up to the sky, stacking shoulders on top of the shoulder. Tuck your tailbone under, and remember to push to the outside of that right foot. I want you to tuck your tailbone under and take the chest out from collapsing onto that thigh. I want you to have a nice foundation here. On your inhale, I want you to lift that right palm over towards the front of the room. And on our exhale, I want you to bring the palms down. Bring that left foot directly underneath you. And on your inhale, kick that right foot up. Square the torso off with that floating leg and come into a Virabhadrasana 3 or a Warrior 3 on this left side. I want you to really pull the spine towards the front and drag that right foot towards the back of the mat. Inhale, really lengthening the spine. And our exhale, fold forward, coming into a standing split, kicking that right foot up towards the sky. Drag the head towards the floor and keep your gaze or drishti onto the back of the right toes. I want you to square your hips off and remember to kick through that right heel and drag the top of the head towards the floor. Inhale, bring that foot down. Halfway lift, and exhale, forward fold. Inhale, I want you to root your rise, leaving both arms up to touch above you. And on your exhale, I want you to sit down into Utkatasana or chair pose, lifting the spine up and out of the hips, sinking the heels into the floor, taking the weight out of the toes, and stacking the knees directly on top of the heels. I want you to sit back deeper into your imaginary chair and lift the spine up and out of the hips so much that you can feel the wiggle in the back of the shoulders. Inhale, keeping the chest up to the sky. And our exhale, forward fold. Inhale, root to rise, sweeping both arms up. Exhale, palm to chest. And down to Samasthiti. When you're ready, I want you to begin sitting down into an imaginary chair. I want you to sit down so deeply that you begin to bring your butt towards the floor. Bringing your back completely onto the mat. I want you to stretch your legs out wide, coming down and resting in a corpse pose. We will now be entering our Shavasana. Shavasana is a wonderful time in class that we use to talk to ourselves. We spend 60 minutes getting the body ready to rest in order to be able to hear the internal thoughts. I will let you know when we are out of Shavasana, but use the next 5 minutes for your own practice. Inhale deeply through the nose. And exhale loudly out the mouth.
If you awaken from this illusion and you understand that black implies white, self implies other, life implies death, or shall I say, death implies life, you can feel yourself not as a stranger in the world, not as something here on probation, not as something that has arrived here by fluke, but you can begin to feel your own existence as absolutely fundamental. What you are basically, deep, deep down, far, far in, is simply the fabric and structure of existence itself. So, say in Hindu mythology, they say that the world is the drama of God. God is not something in Hindu mythology with a white beard that sits on a throne and that has royal prerogatives. God in Indian mythology is the self, Satchidananda, which means Sat, that which is, Chit, that which is consciousness, that which is Ananda is bliss. And in other words, what exists, reality itself, is gorgeous. It is the plenum, the fullness of total joy. Wow-wee. And all those stars, if you look out in the sky, is a firework display like you see on the 4th of July, which is a great occasion for celebration. The universe is a celebration. It is a fireworks show to celebrate that existence is. Wow-wee. And then they say, but however, there's no point just in sustaining bliss. Let's suppose that you were able every night to dream any dream you wanted to dream. And that you could, for example, have the power within one night to dream 75 years of time. Or any length of time you wanted to have. And you would naturally, as you began on this adventure of dreams, you would fulfill all your wishes. You would have every kind of pleasure you could conceive. And after several nights of 75 years of total pleasure each, you would say, well, that was pretty great. But now let's have a surprise. Let's have a dream which isn't under control, where something is going to happen to me that I don't know what it's going to be. And you would dig that and come out of that and say, wow, that was a close shave, wasn't it? And then you would get more and more adventurous, and you would make further and further out gambles as to what you would dream. And finally, you would dream where you are now. You would dream the dream of living the life that you are actually living today. That would be within the infinite multiplicity of choices you would have, of playing that you weren't God. Because the whole nature of the Godhead, according to this idea, is to play that he's not. The first thing he says to himself is, man, get lost. Because he gives himself away. The nature of love is self-abandonment, not clinging to oneself, throwing yourself out, as in, for example, in basketball, you're always getting rid of the ball. You say to the other fellow, have a ball, see? And that keeps things moving. That's the nature of life. So in this idea, then, everybody is fundamentally the ultimate reality. Not God in a politically kingly sense, but God in the sense of being the self, the deep down basic whatever there is. And you're all that, only you're pretending you're not.
This version of you simply becomes real. And you're right here with this version of you. To see things as they really are. This version of you looking at you. You looking back. This version of you welcoming you. This version of you saying yes. I'd like you to imagine this version of you
Trust yourself. More than anything, the world needs you to show up, strong and courageous, to lead them into something new. They may not know it, they may not see it, they may not understand it, but deep within you, you see it and you recognize it, because you're a visionary. You don't just see this present moment, but you see what could be, and that's a gift. You see the pain, but you also see the healing. You see the problem, but you also see the solution. You see the lack, but you also see the provision. You see the gap, but you also see the bridge. And you know that you've been called to lead. You've been called to lead people to a better tomorrow. So lean into that. Trust yourself. Taking control of your thoughts is not always easy. It takes strength. But just like anyone can become physically strong, anyone can become mentally strong enough through effort and practice. At least taking control of your thoughts may feel difficult, but it'll begin to feel natural with practice. As your journey, you will find the practice of taking control of your thoughts and fixing your mind on goodness, abundance, and hope to be an integral part of experiencing and fulfillment of dreams. Because we live in our thoughts, and while we cannot always handpick our experiences and the circumstances we encounter, we can shape our circumstances to benefit us through our thoughts. So get into it. Give this week your best. Work hard and let your purpose drive you to take control of your thoughts and move with joy. There's magic in your bones. Start believing in yourself. Inhale deeply through the nose, filling up the lungs completely. Pushing the back completely onto the floor, feeling the body expand and open. On the top of your inhale, I want you to hold. And exhale out. At the bottom of this exhale, I want you to hold. Inhale deeply through the nose. Hold at the top. Exhale out. On your next inhale, I want you to give your body a really big good morning stretch, really stretching the arms up towards the front of the mat and pulling the legs down towards the bottom. I want you to feel the pulling and openness throughout your entire body here. And on your exhale, I want you to pull the legs into the chest, really dragging the knees towards the collarbones and feeling the compression on the tops of your thighs and your hips. I want you to keep the entire back on the floor, and on your inhale, lengthen the spine completely onto the ground. Pulling the knees into the chest, I want you to really feel the openness on the top of your thighs. And exhale, release the legs, coming down completely on your back. On your next inhale, I want you to come over on your favorite side, either the left or the right, and curl up into a ball, coming into a fetal position. I want you to drag the knees into the chest and give one last good squeeze, really dragging the knees in. And exhale, release the legs out and use the palm that's not on the ground to lift the torso up, coming onto a seat in the middle of your mat. I want you to inhale, lifting the spine up to the sky. I want you to sit down evenly into your seated pose and bring the knees out to the side. Sitting comfortably in your seated asana, I want you to feel the space and the openness you created in the 60-minute, in the 70-minute multi-style vinyasa class. I want you guys to feel so good after this. I want you to thank your body for pushing yourself through this class and pushing through your own meditations. I know this class wasn't easy, so again, I want to say thank you guys for practicing with me on this beautiful Monday evening. When you're ready, inhale deeply through the nose, bringing the spine up towards the ceiling, bringing the diaphragm in towards the middle line. Expanding the ribs out towards the left and right side. I want you to bring the shoulders away from the ears and really sit up tall in your seated pose. On your exhale, loudly out the mouth, sit down deeper into your asana. Inhale, bring the arms out wide like a book, and bring your arms up barely to touch above you. Inhale, lift the spine up and out of the seat, and really wiggle the left and right side body up and out to expand through those left and right sides of our body. Give the arms a good wrist or stretch to the left, and a stretch to the right. Glue your fingers out wide, proud and tall, feeling this new energy that you now have. On your exhale, bring your palms together above you. I want you to push your palms in towards one another. On your exhale, drag your palms down first to graze the back of your thumb on your forehead. Down to your lips. And finally coming down to your chest. I want you to thank yourself for showing up to today's class, and I will see you guys tomorrow for class. When you're ready, inhale deeply, expanding up tall, and on your exhale, bow down to your practice, thanking your mind, your body, and your spirit for pushing you through today's class. I want to thank you guys again so much for playing with me this wonderful 70-minute Monday 5:30 class. We did run a little bit late, so if anybody needs to run, I completely understand. To my clients, I will see you guys tomorrow morning for the 6 a.m. Atlanta class. It's going to be a fun one, so whether it's going to be inside or not, we're going to find out, but stay tuned, and I will see you guys tomorrow.